This is our first recording after Christmas. Always a big day in the Christian calendar, I believe. It's the big man's birthday.
It is, yes. He always gets very excited, as we all do on our birthday.
How did it go down? Did you put on a bit of a show at the church? Get all the bells and whistles out?
It was lovely. It's always great when a few Christmas carols, make it into the service leading up to Christmas, and then it's really great. We had a wonderful service, the week before Christmas with kids and carols and candles and all that kind of gear. It's magnificent, and lots of guests that come to. Some people only come to church around Christmas time.
Oh yeah,
so that's really lovely as well. And then we have a midnight candlelight service where it's all dark, and that's really cool. And that kind of finishes right on midnight. So that's then it's Happy Christmas, And then you go home and then come back the next morning. Well, half of them do. Half the congregation isn't there because they've gone off on holidays. But then it's the other half. It's filled up with people that you only see that day every year.
Yeah.
So it's
do you recognise or remember any of these people, or are they if you only see them once a year?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I do. There's some people in our local neighbourhood that only come to that midnight one every year, and so you see them there. And then there's some people you just see, generally maybe on Mother's Day or Father's Day or something like that sometimes as well, or at Christmas.
You don't go up to them and say, "Hey, you should come more often," This is a recruiting opportunity.
Well, yes, but of course, no one likes to be recruited, do they, Brady? So I just say, well, it's great to see you, which it is.
No, but if I make a video that goes viral and gets millions and millions of views that I don't normally get, I hope some of those people might subscribe and watch my other videos.
Hope, but you don't go visit them and say, "Hey, I heard you liked my video and would you like to come back?" They're welcome. It's great to see you. We're always here. I always throw something in like that at the end. We're here every week, 10 o'clock if you want to come. Programs during the week.
I see what you're doing. It's tactical. Yeah, I see. I see it. I see what you're doing. You're playing them. You're playing them like a cheap guitar. Playing it cool. Treat them mean. Keep them keen. Yeah, I know it. I know.
Passive aggressive. We don't want you to come. Don't come. Or not. Don't. It's.
Or you've got the place all done up for Christmas, looking amazing, and you say, "You think this is good? You should see how it looks in March." It's brilliant. Now, more importantly than all this religion stuff, Christmas presents.
Christmas presents. Yeah, well, I mean...
How'd you do? Did you get anything? Did you get any good ones?
Oh, look, I got the guaranteed R.M. Williams gift card from Mum, gift voucher.
Nice.
So that's... I'll be able to update my belt, which is...
Nice.
which is, does a pretty heavy job throughout the year and is able to take a well-earned retirement.
Yep. Goes to the Hall of Fame. So that's a belt update.
The only thing working harder than my belt is my top button, I'd have to say.
What do you look for when you go shopping for a belt?
The exact same belt that I bought last time that I like from R.M. Williams. Yep.
Nice.
I have
it's
my
funny
belt.
you should say that. We will come back to that with my idea for a podcast. I've got a good idea for a podcast that I think everyone is going to like and it's going to resonate with. So you got a voucher from your mum. What about from the fam?
I got some lovely little sort of trinkets and things. We got a really cool character from the Muppets, and I've forgotten his name, the Swedish Chef, because we've been loving YouTube clips of the Swedish Chef. So we got a lovely little cool figure of him to sit next to the oven. That was really cool. Yeah,
I like that.
I have to say there was some controversy that happened in the house. I decided a couple of months ago that I was going to buy the girls an Xbox. And so that's a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
And I felt really quite excited because I think it was going to be a real surprise for them. So I went and bought it and took it over to my mum, Mrs. Hine, right, to hide where the presents get hidden under Mum's bed. Although, actually, delete that bit. Over in her apartment, under her bed.
You said it twice.
I feel like I want you to delete. Girls, if you're listening to this, that's not quite true, but it is true.
Don't look under the bed. Don't look under the bed. So, all right. So you bought the Xbox.
So I did that. So I bought the Xbox, hid it over there, felt really good. Found a couple of games. There was one that was only available in Whyalla, so I had to contact our recently married Whyalla civilian friends to go out and buy that one and post it down to me because I couldn't get it.
What the hell? An Xbox game you can only get in Whyalla, the absolute sticks city in the north of South Australia.
It was deleted, like recently deleted, and I wanted to have the physical copy to wrap up. So it was like the last disc in South Australia, that kind of deal. So Jake and Beck came to the party, so they posted it down to me. So
nice, got it.
Brilliant. Yeah, lovely connection.
You don't have to own them these days, do you? Don't you just download all the games? Why did you want the disc so much?
Well, I wanted because it's a gift, because it's like, oh, okay, that kind of thing.
Something to unwrap.
That's right. And so it was like, oh, if you've got this, that means we're getting, the full Xbox or something. So what I did was I wanted to buy a big box, put this little game right at the bottom and fill it full of all sorts of other stuff, like newspaper and crap. So they would have no idea what it was. Anyway, so there's this big conspiracy happening. And then a couple of months ago, my eldest girl finished school, and so I've been giving her some other jobs and tasks and teaching her how to do some stuff, including related to our finances.
Yep.
So she was sorting out doing some reconciliation with some invoices and bits and pieces.
Yep.
And that's been really, really helpful. A month before Christmas, we're having a conversation around the TV about presents and looking at presents, and then suddenly she drops a bomb. I know what we're getting for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I said, no, you don't. And she goes, I do. And I'm like, no, you don't. And she goes, it was in the invoices.
No.
And I looked at her and I could tell from her face that she was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And I went back over to the invoices that I know she'd processed and, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, oh, no.
Oh, man. Security lapse.
So
you got done. Forensic accounting.
That's right. I got audited by my daughter. So anyway, she was good. She was good enough to keep it to herself. Like that was just her and her mother and myself talking. So from her other sister until Christmas Day. So it was a massive surprise to her other sister, and it was a joyful surprise, but basically because it was more of the I've been looking forward to this, knowing what I'm getting happiness, rather than the oh my God, I can't believe you got that for me happiness.
I can't believe the level of access you were giving to your daughter there, letting her go through your finances.
Why?
I don't know. It just seemed like I know you also like, they're on your phone all the time and stuff as well. I don't know. I'm just, I don't know.
Well, we have to, the way our finances work, we have to, sort out a bunch of things and claim them and record them and all that kind of stuff. And it's a pretty menial task, and she was doing it, choosing from the invoices and expenses and stuff. Yeah. It was totally my bad for just absent-mindedly. I did actually think of it. It's like, I've got to keep this secret. And the other thing I did, when I was buying the Xbox, I didn't want to be caught in the gaming store. And so because we have like a find my phone thing, where you can see where other people are. And if sometimes when we're shopping and we're in different parts of the city, it's like, is mum finished down at, what's her name yet and going to come up to here. So I actually turned my locations off to just walk into that building to go buy the game. Then came out, turned my location back on, feeling totally like James Bond, like, they got no idea what I've been doing. And then I got home and just handed the receipt.
Blew it. Anyway.
Unbelievable.
How's the Xbox going down?
Cool, yeah. Well, we played it for a couple of days, then we went away on holiday. So since we've come back, there's been, quite a bit of Halo slaughtering going on, sniping each other, playing side by side. That's been quite a bit of fun, yeah.
These are the same daughters that were distraught when you hit a kangaroo, but they don't mind shooting you in the head in Halo?
Oh, they are unbelievable with a sniper rifle. Like it is, they've become someone else. I don't know what's gone on. It's unbelievable. The slightest little bit of blood in a movie or something, and there's like all nervousness. Then we get on there, and then it's like in your face, Dad. Like it's.
What do you like at Halo?
Well, I like to think that I'm pretty good at it. Like I've played it before, and all that. Whereas they're relatively new to it. They've played it a little bit on holidays and stuff, but. I've been playing, I guess, I'm not a gamer, but, I thought I had game. So when we started, I was a little bit like, well, I'm just going to go easy here, make sure they feel included, Bang, I'm dead. Bang, I'm dead again. Bang, I'm dead again. It's like 25 kills to 9. I'm like, okay, this is, all right, I'm going to have to, this is not on. So they are very good at it. And suddenly that's happened. What about you, man? What'd you get for Christmas?
What did I got? I got lots of nice presents for Christmas. Got some nice wellies, some nice welly boots.
Your gum boots.
Some nice man fume.
Oh, right.
Yeah, nice.
Do you have
scent.
a particular individual sniff, or do you get given a variety of things?
Whatever my wife decides each Christmas is going to be my scent for the year is what my scent for the year will become. So this is my new scent for the year. Yep.
What was last year's scent?
I can't remember. It had a gold bottle.
Right.
Yeah. This year's has got a black bottle. It smells really nice. She knows best.
Nice.
But yeah, it was great. It was great. And, obviously the first time with Edward understanding Christmas and, Santa Claus and Father Christmas, it was fun. It was fun. He just loves opening presents. He loves opening the presents more than the presents themselves, but a good time was had by all. Although we did get ravaged by sickness over Christmas. So, especially after Christmas. So I'm only just coming out of it. I've been not very well for a while. But other than that, Christmas was good. Everyone in England's been sick this Christmas, so it's kind of like,
Right. Well, I've got a couple in my family that are unwell at the moment now too, having just come back from holidays, which is a shame for them.
Let me tell you about my idea for a podcast, because you've said a couple of things already that show me why this is a good idea.
Right.
All right. My idea for a podcast is called Discontinued. And this is a podcast where people talk about things that they want to get, but they can't because it's been discontinued by the manufacturer.
Ah, right.
This is an eternal problem. You talked about how you get the same belt all the time at R.M. Williams. One year you're going to go in and they're going to say, we don't make that belt anymore.
Yeah.
You talked about this Xbox disc you wanted. They're not making that game anymore. This is the bane of my wife's existence, because she is a, I think it's fair to call her a consumer.
Right.
And she'll get something she likes, and she's very particular, and so she has this perfume from years and years ago she loves, and they discontinued it, and then it just becomes her like life mission to find it somewhere secondhand or some store that still got it and things like that. And she always seems to be trying to buy things that she loves that she wants to get another one of that have been discontinued. I also have this problem in life, I'm finding it sometimes with Lego sets at the moment. I find out about some Lego set that was discontinued, and I want to get my hands on it, but you can only go to the second-hand market, or you just can't get it. And I think loads and loads of people have things in their life that they want to get, or they particularly want to get again, and they can't because of the bane of discontinuation. Does this chime with you?
Oh, yes, it does. Yes, because I'm very much the person who finds the thing and I lock in, and that's my thing for life.
Yep.
Yeah, that's absolutely me. So I get really frustrated.
I had this. I've got this like black, kind of like a thin wind cheater, a thin top that I like to wear that keeps me a little bit warm but not too warm, and I like how it looks on me, and I like the style and the cut of it, and it's still okay, it's still good now, but I'm like, one day this is not going to be wearable anymore, and I love this, so I want to get another one. Discontinued. I spoke to the manager of the company that makes it. He was like, he said, I love it too, but we didn't sell many of them, and so we've stopped making them. Gutted.
The one I've mentioned before, which is very, very important to me, is my particular glasses frames, which you might recall I put out a call through the podcast to try and find them, the last ones worldwide, and I ended up finding one pair in Asia, which are a slight variation of the, that's right, the Dita New Yorkers. And I've even gone to a very, very, very deep blue rather than the black, because that was the one that I could source, but I'm on the last pair now, and once these are gone, I'm going to have to make a massive life decision about what, different frames I'm going to have on my face.
My wife likes this perfume so much that isn't made anymore that she even contacted like a company that specializes in trying to make replicas of perfumes you like you send them a little sample and they'll like get out the chemicals and try and replicate it for you. So how does one get around discontinuation? So I think it'd be a great podcast where people just come in or send in things that they want another one. Why do you love it so much? What have you done with it? How have you used it over the years? What have you done to try and find another one?
Yeah.
How can we help you find another one? There's a few avenues we could explore here as a podcast.
Can I say one in particular came up, which is related to the Xbox, not just the game I was mentioning, which you can download these games, but what I've found is they've stopped making a particular type of game, and that is a car racing game that you can play sitting on the same couch with someone else. What I've found is that whole genre, which you would think was a bleedingly obvious genre, they don't make them anymore. You can only play online someone who has their own Xbox. So like the Formula One game, it's not like I sit down with my daughter and go, okay, split screen, here we go, let's race. It doesn't do it. It doesn't do that at all.
Is that because they don't like split screen games for car racing anymore?
Well, I don't know why it is they've discontinued, but they've stopped making them. So on the Switch, you can play like Mario Kart, right? And we do that, all the time. There's nothing on the Xbox that does that. You have to go back to this old generation, this game I think it's called Forza, and it's like version 7 or something, which again is discontinued, and that's the last game that's, that where you could split screen and race someone that you're sitting next to. So, having your friend come over, sit next to each other and play a car racing game doesn't happen anymore. And I think it's because they want that kid to sit at home and buy his own Xbox so they make more money. And I think that sucks because that takes something that could be fun and relational and makes it like at a distance, It's not the same.
I remember the Formula One game on PlayStation that I had many, many years ago. And this was before online gaming. And they made it so you couldn't split the screen, but you could play it on one PlayStation. But no, I think you need 2 PlayStations actually. But you also had to have 2 TVs, and you had to like link them in a special way, to race against your friend in that Formula One game. And this was back when we had TVs that were like cathode ray tube TVs, so they were having two TVs was like massive heavy boxes.
It's like 2 bits of furniture, yeah.
Yeah, and we'd have these 2 massive TVs back to back, and you needed like a degree in electrical engineering to hook them up together to make it work. So that was a problem even for me back in the day.
Oh, it's crazy. Well, please, gaming designers, just like design a really cool racing game where you can have like 2 or 4 people racing against each other. Like, that's brilliant fun. And Mario Kart is a massive game on the Nintendo Switch. I just don't know why PlayStation and Xbox don't do it. And I don't know. I can't believe I know so much about this now.
Is there a Micro Machines game? There was a Micro Machines racing game that I always found a really fun party type game, and multiple people could do it.
What's Micro Machine? What was that?
Micro Machines was you were racing, Micro Machines, mini cars, and you would be racing on things like kitchen tops and things like that. So it was quite cute. You'd be driving around on a kitchen top in these little hot rod cars, like amongst all the breakfast cereal and the knives and forks. But the way that worked, I think you could have up to 8 players or something like that. But if you fell behind everyone else who was racing, it was like a top-down looking racing game. If you fell behind the people who were racing, you fell off the screen. Yeah. You were out until everyone else had fallen off, and then it would start again. So it was a different way of doing multiplayer racing games.
That is cool. That's great. Well, cool. Can I let me ask, if that game exists, can someone let me know and contact the show? And if there's if I'm missing it somehow, and the helper person, at the shop where I buy this stuff in Adelaide, if they're missing it too.
Oh, so you've gone into the shop and said, I want a racing game where we can just both play it on the TV, and they said there's nothing.
I do. I go in and I talk to the 12-year-old person there and say, look, I'm a middle-aged dad who's got no clue, but we just want to race, right? And what can we do? And they go, I don't, and then they mention lots of things that I don't understand, and then but in the end they basically say, nah, you can't do it. No one really does it anymore. And so if I'm missing something, let me know. But otherwise, gamers get to it. I can't believe that Formula One would have a race where you can't actually race someone. That seems crazy.
You can, just not on the same TV. Yeah.
I know. It's like siblings sitting down together, people sitting down, friends. That blows me away.
Back in my day, it was nothing like that.
No. We used to play this. Remember, we used to play this really cool ice hockey game where we'd face off and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that was on
your little
that
TV?
was on my end. That was on a Nintendo. That was on a Super Nintendo, I think. It was an EA Sports hockey game. Yeah.
EA Sports in the game. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That had about 5 pixels and Your TV only had 2 pixels and
terrible.
we chased them around. That was pretty funny.
So discontinued. There's been another thing that was discontinued on me was a really nice diffuser scent that I had in my room. You know, you get those diffusers where you put those like sticks in them and they make... There was one that just had a lovely smell in my room for ages and ages, and I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. It finally ran out, so I went to buy it again. Gone. Discontinued. So frustrating.
How frustrating.
Sometimes food you like gets discontinued, like at shops or, like at a restaurant. Some meal you love at a restaurant, and one day you go and you want to order it again. No, sorry, we don't do that anymore. What?
Gone. Denied. Discontinued. How frustrating. It is. It feels like it's personal, doesn't it? It feels a bit like you're personally offended.
Because it's like a judgment on you as well, because obviously it wasn't popular enough for them to keep making it. But you liked it. So it's like, what does that say about you? Does that say that you don't have good taste, or you have really good taste, or I don't know,
exclusive taste?
Other people have bad taste. Yeah, it's like it is a bit of a judgment call on you.
If you could call back something that comes back.
Oh, that's a good idea. The Adelaide Grand Prix. That was discontinued.
That would be cool. I would love that.
Oh, I don't know. Is there some? Well, the Wendy's. Are they still doing the Wendy's hot dog?
Yes, Wendy's. That's what I would. That I knew that I was forgetting something.
I mean, that's going out of business. That's different to discontinuing. Wendy's didn't stop the hot dog, did they? They just shut down Wendy's altogether, didn't they? This is the Adelaide Wendy's, by the way, people, not the American Wendy's that you're thinking of, the burger joint.
No,
there's an Adelaide ice cream store called Wendy's.
Ice cream, and they do hot dogs on the side, but the hot dogs are the real deal for us. There's one left at Mitcham, and I think they're closing down. I've heard that, but which is a travesty. They've certainly closed them in the city. Oh, jeez. Well, that's a really good idea, discontinued, because I think people feel passionate about it. I think they really do. It's not just in a restaurant. It's not like just being a Karen in a restaurant where you're like, oh, I can't believe you don't do that anymore. But there are substantial things that you rely on. I tell you one more that I thought of. Country, I wear just black T-shirts, and Country Road used to do a nice black T-shirt, a really simple black T-shirt. Country Road is an Australian brand with a V-neck, and they don't do that anymore. They only do the rounded neck. And the rounded neck feels like I'm being choked. I can't handle that. So I wish they would bring them back. Very, very simple, plain black T-shirt with a V-neck.
Hey everyone, I've since checked, and yes, we did discuss the idea of discontinued items in episode 46 when Tim talked about his glasses, but nowhere near this level of detail. I'll put a link down in the notes if you want to go and listen to that, so you don't have to email me or mention it in the comments, okay? Hearing us talk about it now, right, hearing me talk about a diffuser scent that I wish still existed, and you talking about a black T-shirt with a V-neck that you wish still existed, maybe this isn't such a good idea. Is this a bit boring? I don't know.
Well,
is it a bit niche? Is it a bit too specific to the people involved? I think you have to...
Well, we're not exactly discussing like, medicines. It's like cheap cigarettes. They're discontinued. They're all expensive now. Why is that? Why is that annoying? Like, we're not playing for sheep stations here in our examples. We generally have most stuff that we need, that's for sure.
I don't know. I feel like I spend a lot of my life talking with my wife about things she wants to buy that have been discontinued, which is why it kind of chimes with me. Because she's always like, especially stuff for the little boy. So like Edward wears he'll have a brand of sneaker that is really nice. But obviously he goes through them so quickly because he's growing and he's a little boy. So we'll be like, let's get him another pair of those, but a size up. So often these things have been discontinued and you can't get them anymore, like baby clothes and baby stuff. So that's another place where we're really finding it comes up a lot.
Well, tell me, like inside, even though these feel like trivial commercial things, inside that frustration is the fact that I don't think you want to have to spend more mental energy now sorting out what another one is or what's a good one or best one, because I do a bit of thinking, okay, what's ethical, what's good price, what's quality, what's going to last, all that kind of stuff. And then you go, oh, right, I have to frigging start from square one again. You know what I mean? Like I had that locked away, didn't have to think about it, walk in, grab it, and now you have to do the mental energy. You have to do the research again.
There are other things that could be discontinued too. I'm thinking, say you went to a theme park when you were a kid and you take your kids there later. I want to take you to this theme park and take you on this roller coaster that I used to love. And you go there and they're like, oh no, we haven't got that roller coaster anymore. We haven't got that ride anymore. There are things like that can be discontinued as well. That can be heartbreaking. I think as you get to our age as well, you start looking back at things you loved and wanting to revisit them, and they're more likely to be discontinued because it's longer ago. So maybe that's another reason it comes up.
Because WHS standards of, work health and safety means that what we were doing was, really illegal or something. Like riding in the back of a station wagon, just laying down. Oh. That's been discontinued.
It has, yeah. That was so much fun sitting in the back of cars without seatbelts.
Yeah, that's right. For pretty good reason. I have to say one more example is, and this is a bleeding obvious one, is that when you're really into a TV program and then it's discontinued, I'm watching a show at the moment. It's called The Americans, which is about Russian spies living in suburban America.
My wife loved that show.
Oh, well, I tell you, I'm really loving it. I'm the only one in the house kind of watching it, and I've been watching it over these holidays. And I'm into the last season now, and I'm starting to feel feelings of like grief, like sadness. Like at the start of the final season, there was this little montage with, this sad song about catching up since the last season. And I started, oh my God, this is, oh my goodness, this is going to be my last trip around with these guys. And, then we're going to say goodbye and it's going to end. And I can feel that feeling coming up already.
That's more frustrating when a show gets axed and they haven't completed the storyline.
Oh,
and it just gets axed unexpectedly. So they had a 5-season plan, and it gets axed after 2 seasons because no one's watching it except you. And then you're like, oh, that's at least with a lot of shows that you love the end, like The West Wing or Breaking Bad or The Sopranos. At least they have a chance to end it and give you some closure, whether you like the ending or not. But so when they get axed unexpectedly, that's a real rug from under your feet.
Like The Heights. Remember The Heights? We talked about.
Heights. I remember that.
There was one season and then it was gone.
Yeah.
Natalie, she's pretty.
Yes.
That's a throwback to the civilians.
How do you talk to an angel?
How do you talk to an angel? Yeah, it was a perfectly fantastic show and gone.
Dream show for you, made for you, basically. Basically, a bunch of people sat in a room and said, there's this guy called Tim Hine who lives in Adelaide, Australia, and we want to make a show that he's really going to like. Let's throw some ideas around. And I think The Heights is what they came up with. I want Beverly Hills 90210 meets...
But they're musos. Yeah, they're in a band.
But they're musicians and they play original songs all the time. And like that. Oh, okay, yeah, I hear you. It was made for you.
That is what it is.
I don't think I watched it. I loved the song, because the theme song became a big hit in Australia.
How do you talk to an angel?
I judged people that liked the song because it became a hit song. I'm like, I don't think people know where this is from because the show was like, blink and you'll miss it. And so, yeah.
Yeah.
The Heights. Yeah, Beverly Hills 90210, but they're in a band.
Yeah.
That's right. With a dash of Melrose Place.
And they're a bit sadder. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a bit of lament, bit of, serious stuff going on. Yeah. Their lives aren't superficial. It's not like they're just, going around crying about the fact that their favourite black T-shirt isn't available anymore or anything like that.
No. their favourite diffuser scent. Shout out to all the people out there that can't get their favourite diffuser scent. Thoughts and prayers.
I'm thinking of writing a song with Bob Geldof for you. Diffuser.
Yeah. How about we do something we haven't done for a little while? It's time for... Spoon of the Week!
That's right. Just when you thought it had been discontinued... It had been imposed with things like Moon of the Week and other sort of toilet break ideas, but it's back. It's back. Here we have a spoon. Now, this is chosen from the collection. No gift spoons. It's not come from someone on holidays.
From the Hine family collection, bequeathed to Tim at the passing of his father.
Yes, that's right. It's and I've picked it out, and this is a beautiful, elegant, dainty little spoon, and it's appropriate that's little because it's come from a little island known as Tasmania.
Which is actually a massive island when you think about it.
It is in terms of islands, it's a large island, that's right. But seeing it's right next to Australia, it feels small.
Like when you look at lists of the biggest islands in the world, it comes up on it. Like it's a big island.
I wonder what the comparable mass between it and New Zealand would be.
New Zealand's way bigger than Tasmania.
Oh, you reckon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah, maybe even equivalent to one of. Yeah, there's 2 islands. Don't contact me, New Zealand. It's okay. Brady's done your job for you there. no need to get defensive.
Let's have a look. Hang on. Let's have a look at the air. So Tasmania, people, is an island off the south coast of Australia. It's its own state. It's a whole state of Australia as well. Most people probably know this. I'm just going to have a look at its area.
I wonder. Hey, also compare it to Hawaii. I wonder what it's like compared to Hawaii, although I know there are multiple islands in Hawaii, aren't there?
Tasmania is bigger than Switzerland.
Wow.
Twice the size of Belgium, 3 times the size of Israel. It's almost exactly the same size as the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah, right.
Here's a question for you, Tim. How many times do you think you could fit the island of Tasmania inside Australia itself, the rest of Australia?
Oh... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up that way. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And probably the same again in Western Australia. I'm going to say like 25 to 30.
115.
No way.
Apparently. That's what the internet just told me.
That must be true. Gosh.
Tell me about the spoon. What's on the spoon? You've got a Tasmania spoon. This is a souvenir spoon from the island of Tasmania, from the Hine family collection.
I picked this one out of the collection as I rumbled around because the colours were so striking. It's quite a simple spoon. There's no branding on it from, the house of, Doodah or anything like that.
Apples.
It's got up the head. It's got basically a map of Tassie with a big apple in the middle of it. And Tasmania is famous for its apples.
The Apple Isle.
The Apple Isle, indeed. And then it says Tasmania in yellow. It's green, blue, red, yellow. So the colours are strong and they're striking and they're distinct and it's nice and clean and simple. Looks nice. The prominent, although the apple does look a bit like a strawberry.
Right.
Down the stem, small scoopy bit. Dull colour, it's quite shiny up the top but more dull down below, which means it may have been used.
Saw some action. Yep,
for scooping stuff.
Are we imagining this was purchased by your parents on a holiday to Tasmania?
Yeah, now I can't remember us ever going to Tasmania on holiday in my lifetime, but I have a feeling Mum went before she was married. So she may have purchased it then.
What, just cruising for Tasmanian dudes?
Yep, or apples.
Or apples, more likely apples, actually. More likely for an apple pie. That sounds more like your mum.
or it was a gift. It may have been a gift because people would buy mum and dad gifts if they'd been somewhere. I have no memory of it coming into our life. I've been to Tasmania twice. One for our honeymoon and another one for a holiday after that. Actually, 3 times I've been to work trip to speak at something, but that was an in and out, pretty quick one.
Yep.
Beautiful place, magnificent place. People rave about New Zealand, which rightly so I hear, though I've not been there, but Tasmania is similar. Lord of the Rings kind of aura.
It's like New Zealand, but without all the New Zealanders, so lovely.
Just swap the sheep for apples. You're about right. Yeah, marvellous place.
Oh, Tasmania's beautiful. Beautiful place, Tasmania. Cradle
I remember
Mountain.
you went there, didn't you, when we were at school around that age? You were raving about it.
There. Yeah, nice. My grandmother, on my father's side, married a Tasmanian and moved to Tasmania for much of her latter life. So the first time I ever went on a plane that I can only vaguely remember was a trip to Tasmania for her wedding.
Right.
And then we went and visited her on a family holiday later on and saw the sights of the Apple Isle. Of course, your wife was born in Tasmania, wasn't she?
She was, yes. So she is Tasmanian. She and very, big news for Tasmanians is that they have recently had a football team created and put into the Australian Football League, which is a big deal. They start in a few years' time, called the Tasmanian Devils. And my wife has bought a membership and bought a jersey that she wears around the house and a sticker that's on her back of her iPhone and on our car, which gets beeps around the place. So She's very passionate Tasmanian.
What, like if a fellow Tassie person sees your car with a Tassie sticker, you'll get a beep where you're like, yay, let's go Devils.
Yeah, she does. Yep.
Yeah.
She gets a wave and all that kind of stuff every now and then when you see a little hobbit run past.
Nice. All right, Tasmania spoon, picture in the show notes. Go and have a look. There's a spoon of the week for you.
How'd it feel having spoon of the week back, man? How did it feel? Does it feel good? Feels like
Comforting.
Yes.
Warm. I feel like I'm being hugged. Like a warm embrace.
reassuring.
Yeah. So this is also another tradition around this time of the show is we announce which of our stakeholders, our Patreon supporters, are going to get a little prize, including an Unmade podcast souvenir spoon forged here in the UK. We had them specially designed and made. We only give them out as Patreon prizes. And the spoon this week is going to Shari in New Brunswick, Canada.
Congratulations, Shari.
Yeah.
Hang on. Man, can I just interrupt you there?
Yeah.
I don't have the guitar to play while you're doing this, like the physical guitar. However, what I do have is I have a new app that I've downloaded to tune my guitar, and on that app you can actually strum the guitar. And I wonder if I can play something on my strumming app while you read out as a bit of background noise.
Okay, yeah, like a bit of accompaniment. Yeah, that sounds nice. All right.
I haven't written a song on it. It's not that kind of thing. I'll put it on airplane mode so it doesn't beep, beep, beep all over the place. Can you hear that? Well, just go ahead and read the names, man, and I'll just play along, capturing the spirit of the names.
You got it. All right. So let's again. That was the spoon is going to Shari in New Brunswick, Canada. The key ring is going to Jacob in Wisconsin. Congratulations, Jacob. Thank you for being a Patreon supporter. And spoon of the week collector cards are heading to Stuart in New South Wales, Linda in Des Moines, Iowa, and Chintas or Kintas in Cambridgeshire in the UK. Nice.
Perfect. Oh, lovely.
Okay. Please do support us on Patreon. One of the bonuses you get is you also get to listen to the Request Room, our little bonus show where we answer questions and do things requested by Patreon supporters. And we will be doing one of these today after we record this episode. And we have some very intriguing questions. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what Tim and I have to say to them. So
brutally honest we are, aren't we, Brady? Vulnerable, brutally honest.
Vulnerable. It's a place of honesty. It's a place where it's like a confessional booth.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
There is something about the fact that it doesn't go out to the whole world, that it goes out to our crew in that sense that I do feel like I share a little bit more in the request room than perhaps I should or I would have otherwise. So there we go.
Interesting. We'll see how that goes today. Considering the stuff we discussed about nose hair and boils in the last episode, you can only imagine what we discuss in the request room. All right, let's hear your idea for a podcast, Tim.
Oh crap! Yes. All right. So I was hoping lightning would strike somewhere in the midst of our conversation, and it hasn't. Look, I have. How long is your list idea now? Is it super long, or have you culled it back or used up all your ideas?
I've got ideas from like the early weeks of us doing this project, so it's really, really long.
Mine is too, and there's something. The longer it gets, I don't think the quality improves at all. I have to say, I do have one here that's been inserted by another member of my family onto my notes without my knowledge.
Right.
That's just it's an idea called Colour File, where it just says here, go around Rundle Mall asking people what their favourite colour is.
Yeah, I like that.
I love that it's specifically Rundle Mall, like as an Adelaide-based idea. It's not universal at all.
Oh, I know what your favourite colour is. It's British Racing Green.
Correct.
Yeah.
What's your favourite colour? Do you have one?
For the longest time, I used to say it was silver, and it probably... So I'll stick with that, I guess. If you don't count silver as a colour, I guess I'll go blue.
But what kind of blue?
Like a darker blue, not like a jaunty blue.
Not like Manchester City blue.
No, not sky blue. More the navy type blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Navy blue, but with a little bit more vibrance.
I love the way you explained that. So there we go. That's an idea right there, and we've just executed that idea, made that idea.
Nice.
So
Nice.
that's wonderful. That's
All right.
that was suggested by my cardigan wearing family member.
Okay. Is that a secret word?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how obvious it was. even I could pick that.
But was it obvious that I looked down as I said it?
And also, like, it took actually discussing your daughters mid-show for you to remember that you had to drop a secret word.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. Well, this would be a timely time to mention also Melbourne. It's a wonderful city.
It is a nice city.
And to make the statement, I can't think of one, which is also what I wanted to include too.
Okay.
So there we go.
You have to do secret statements now as well as words.
Yes. Well, that's a bit of a joke. When someone says, I can't think of one, I say, okay, that's it. I'm putting that in without drawing attention to it. All right. I'll go with the idea that's directly under this, which is basically my favourite toy. This is a list. Whilst we were on holiday, which was in Melbourne, we went along to a fantastic kind of ancient vintage toy souvenir shop.
Nice.
There was stuff there from Star Wars and from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. There was also stuff from He-Man and Transformers and Barbies and My Little Pony and all the rest of it. It was unbelievable.
Did you crack out the wallet?
I didn't crack out the wallet. I didn't buy anything. But it was it was almost like it was too much. It was like that, and I want that, and I always wanted that.
If Mr. Miyagi had come in and said, choose, like he does to Daniel with the cars, and you could have taken any toy out of that store with you, what would you have taken?
I would have taken a really nice looking Optimus Prime. There was a really cool looking Optimus Prime Transformer, and it's just was.
How much was it?
Oh, I can't remember, but everything's between sort of $100 and $400.
Okay, so not like chump change, a proper investment.
Yeah, it wasn't. Actually, there was a really big Knight Rider that I would have loved as well, just the box brought back more memories than the actual car, because I think it's the box that I stared at in Toy World all those years ago and never actually got to see the car too much. That would be cool too. That was brilliant. Yeah.
Having a boy now that we buy lots of toys for, it's really interesting how much nostalgia it brings back for your own toys. And the people who make toys really prey on that as well. Like they bring out retro toys from the era of the parents, and they know they're doing it. Like, here's the telephone I had when I was a kid, and they've made them just the same. Like they've, because what kid these days is going to have an actual telephone with a hook and a receiver and that? They don't even know what that is, but they still make them because they know the parents will buy them. And like, you are insanely loyal and what's the word I'm looking for? Vociferous and a real disciple for the toys that you liked as a kid, to the point of annoyance. Like, I had that toy when I was a kid and it was the best toy. And the toys you had, I don't even want to hear about. I just want to talk about the toys I had when I was a kid. There's a lot of that in our house. And when you find that rare toy that you both had, well, that's gold. Because then you're like, your kid's definitely getting that toy.
It's almost like you suddenly feel like your kid's childhood will be bereft or inadequate if they don't have this toy. Like, how could I dare allow them to grow up without having this thing that I had? Like, somehow it'll be a worse childhood or something, because they've not had it the way you feel it.
But the way you imprint with toys you had when you were a kid is something pretty strong. What's the one from your childhood that's calling to you now?
Look, I still have one teddy that I had when I was young. I know teddy's a little bit different to a toy, because I think of it as a different category. But I still have one that I had when I was little that we've still got, and it's kicking around, the girls' bedrooms and stuff. And I'm really glad that we've kind of still got that in our life. So there's two categories even in this, isn't there? There's the one you had that you love, and then there's the thing you always wanted but never had.
Coveted.
And that, in some ways, is even more motivating.
Oh, yes.
To spend
there
money
are
on now.
toys from childhood that my wife didn't get that are talked about on a weekly basis here.
A weekly basis.
Yeah. Some kitchen she always wanted that she never got. I can't remember what it's called now, but they're...
I love that episode of Friends where they date this guy and they keep going over to his house just because he has a collection of toys to play with that they really want to play. No, is that Friends or is that Seinfeld, actually? Maybe it's in both. I thought it was in Friends where the girls go and play at a doll's house at a friend's house with their kid.
Well, before we talk about coveting, tell me about what you did have that is like the one. What's the one that's in
I
your
did
head?
have this really cool little Knight Rider, and I really, really love that.
Like Kit, the car.
Kit, the Kit Knight Rider, David Hasselhoff, fantastic show in the 80s. And I had that, and then I lost it. And so it has that sort of, oh, geez, I'd love to get it again. And then I found it at school with someone else was playing with it, and I was sure it was mine, and that caused like a fight at school.
Oh.
And it's only with the perspective of hindsight I look back and go, actually, that was probably just that kid's. It wasn't mine. But the fact that I'd lost mine and then suddenly he had one, in my mind, I put two and two together and got 5.
How was that fight resolved? Like, did the kid keep his car or?
Yes, we were both sent to the vice principal's office. It was really serious. Like it was grade 3 or something, but we had to go to sit outside the vice principal's office, and we're sitting, you know how you're both sitting outside an office, but you're sitting apart, but you can still talk to each other, but you're not talking to each other. You're both just looking at the floor. And then after a while, he just looks over at me, goes, "It is my car."
Right.
And I just remember going, "It looks so much like mine." And that's kind of all we said. And then I can't remember what happened after that. We didn't get... I mean, back then you could get a smack at school. This is back then when you could get smacked on the bottom, get a belting. That didn't happen on this occasion.
So, but he kept the car. You backed down, or the vice principal made a decision?
Yes, that's right. He was Solomon, and he gave the car to the other boy. And I think he was, with the hindsight now, at the moment, and in the time it felt unjust, but with the benefit of hindsight, I think that's the bleeding obvious just thing to do. I think I just lost my car and I was grieving and looking to take someone
possession
else's.
is 9/10 of the law, man.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I was saying but I remember the teacher looking at me and saying, "They make 1 million of these cars. How do you know it's yours?" And me going, "But the scratches are the same." And now I think back and go,
Were the scratches the same?
yes, it looked familiar to me at the time. I wasn't pretending. I wasn't lying trying to steal someone else's car. But I think I was lost in my grief and not really knowing what was up and down and all the rest of it.
Okay.
And I'm only just getting over it now. In fact, I haven't got over it because I bought one the other day when I saw one in the shop here in Adelaide.
It was the same one in the shop. You went up to the person in the shop and said, "This is mine."
This is mine. I'm not paying for this. It sits on the dashboard in our car. Oh, dear. What's calling to you?
My big box of Lego, space Lego. I loved playing with that. My Star Wars figures, Star Wars figurines, my Luke Skywalker, my Darth Vader, my Boba Fett. And of course they all had broken lightsabers, those little plastic lightsabers they used to have that just came down their arm, which is kind of macabre when you think about it, but that always get bent and broken. But the one that's sticking in my head at the moment is my die-cast metal snow speeder from The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, yeah, right, yeah.
The snow speeders that took down the AT-ATs. I had a die-cast metal one of that, and I loved that. And I just think the snow speeders are a cool-looking
They do
ship.
look cool, yeah.
Yeah, so I loved that. And funnily enough, so that's the toy at the moment that I would just love to have back here right now. It would make me really happy. But my neighbours, the Smith boys, had the speeder bike from Return of the Jedi. That had a little button on the back, and when you press the button, it would kind of explode into 3 pieces, and you could put like a biker scout on it and press the button, and it would look like he'd crashed. And that was a coveting one for me. I'd love going around to their house and just putting it together and exploding it and looking at it and thinking, that's a beautiful toy. I wish that was my toy. I never had one. Well, if people listening want to get in touch about the toys they loved, even better, send us a picture. Even better, send us a picture of you with the toy.
Oh, yeah.
Go send us that unmadefm@gmail.com or do it via all the usual places you can get in touch with us. You know how to do it by now. We'd love to hear and see some toys. Nice idea.
Toys. Gosh, it pushed a button. You know, the one thing in the room I did make an offer on was up high, there was a... what do you call it? Like like a sign, basically, cardboard sign from back when Mr. T was promoting Toyota cars in Australia. Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Well, this was Mr. T with a Toyota sign, and I absolutely remember that. And I was about to head off to have dinner with my cousins in Melbourne, one of whom's father used to have a Toyota dealership back in the 80s, and another one of which works at Toyota now. And so I just would have loved to have turned up with this thing.
Yeah.
But I said to the guy, what's that worth? And he says, it's not for sale. The boss will not sell it. And I said,
Okay.
what will the price be? You know, like I'll give you $100 for it. And he goes, no. He's turned down $500 for it. And I'm like, oh, goodness gracious me.
Okay.
It's just the boss wants to hold on to it. But
Nice.
that was the actual thing I nearly walked out with. Yeah.
It sounds like it's the thing everyone wants.
1985 is going to be one terrific year for Toyota and one terrific year for you.
What's with the T? Are you jazzing me?
No way. Right now on the entire range, including Corona, Australia's top-selling four-cylinder in 84, Toyota has terrific deals. Well,
Satisfies me, and I'm Mr. T.
so see your Toyota dealer now for a terrific deal.
Do it.
Oh, what a feeling.
Terrific.
Toyota.
Okay, everyone. Join us in the request room if you're a Patreon supporter. And if you're not, thanks for listening. And get in touch about your toys. We want to hear about your toys. And get in touch about things that are discontinued. Love to hear some of your discontinuation stories too.